Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you as always by Layer of the Land, where we check out those top stories making headlines here in Israel, and we do it every Monday to Thursday with me, Rolene. So let's get into it, shall we? Because that's what you came here for. And the big story, which we of course have been covering for the last couple of months, is the proposed judicial overhaul. Now, last night, MKs voted to advance the override clause. This would see a majority of 61 members of Knesset be able to overturn a ruling of the Supreme Court. And this is seen as the real bone of contention with regards to these proposed overhauls. Nevertheless, in a vote of 61 to 52, the first reading was passed. The bill will now go to the Constitution, Law and Justice Committee for any kind of reforms or any kind of rewrites, and then it will go for a second and third reading. Another bill passing its first reading last night was a bill that would see the Supreme Court be unable to call for the withdrawal of the Prime Minister because of a conflict of interest. The law would see the Supreme Court only able to withdraw a Prime Minister from various activities if he is mentally or physically incapacitated. This has also passed its first reading and has to go for a second and third reading. Meanwhile, Likud member of Knesset and stalwart of the party, Yuli Edelstein, was conspicuous by his absence last night on the votes for judicial reforms. Edelstein in the past couple of weeks has called for the brakes to be put on the judicial overhaul or judicial reform overhaul. In other news, police have opened an inquiry into the comments made by Otzma Yehudi, member of Knesset Tzvika Fogel, who is also the chairman of the National Security Committee in the Knesset. Just a couple of weeks ago, following the brutal terror attack that saw the killing of two brothers, Hallel and Yigal Yaniv, settlers opened or engaged in riots against the Palestinian village of Huwara, burning at least 40 buildings. Now, in an interview with Galei Tzahal, Fogel is believed to have said that Huwara is closed off and burnt down, and this is what I like to see. Shortly after his comments were made, the Attorney General opened her own investigation into his comments. Fogel will appear before the Lahav 433 unit a little later today, and the charges being brought, or the investigation being brought against him rather, is incitement for terror. One person has been injured and two are believed to be missing following the collapse of a crane onto a pier last night in Ashkelon. The cause of the collapse is believed to have been unusual weather and very strong winds. There is an intense search and rescue operation currently underway that involves, amongst many units, the elite IDF 669, police divers, the Navy, and many others. We pray for the safe return of the two missing Israelis soon. And lastly, because we do try where possible to end off our broadcasts on a positive note, women from the Negev town of Rahat and nearby Sderot have joined together to do a play. Theatre is a great unifier, or rather the arts are a great unifier, bringing people together. The aim of the play is to show coexistence between two very different communities of women who discuss life in their respective villages, what it is like living in southern Israel. These are often communities that come under fire from rockets that are fired from the Gaza Strip towards Israel's southern territories, and explores their different cultures. And we applaud the ladies for putting this together and being a real example for the rest of the country. And that brings me to the end of today's top stories, but don't forget to check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. please click on that red subscribe button, like and share our broadcasts. We're on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5 and on Facebook at Lottel Site. That's at Lottel Site. I'm Raelene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, and we'll check in with each other tomorrow for your top stories.